Hello, today we are going to do an analysis of Africa by Maya Angelou. In the poem, Maya Angelou compares Africa to a woman. She makes use of an extended metaphor to make this comparison. A metaphor is a figure of speech used for making comparisons just like a simile. The only difference is in the expression. When you say, my love is like a red rose, it is simile. But when you say, my love is a red rose, it is metaphor. An extended metaphor is a metaphor that is used throughout the poem. In this particular poem, as Maya Angelou portrays the continent of Africa as a woman. Now let us look at the reasons why she has made use of this comparison to a woman or a mother. The land has forever been identified with the mother, which is why we have the motherland motif. Nature has always been portrayed as a woman. Africa has also been considered as the mother of all civilization, as it was where civilization took birth. In ancient Egypt, based around the river Nile. Now, going on to an analysis of the poem, the first stanza. The author in the first stanza refers to the physical features of the land in terms of a woman. A woman has always been reified in terms of her physical features. So, you can see that the various landmarks are described as smaller metaphors that add up to the extended metaphor of the woman. The various landmarks like the deserts, the mountains, the two Niles, etc. The poem begins on an abrupt note saying, thus she has lain, sugarcane sweet. Woman, as mentioned, has always been synonymous with nature. Synonymous. Her essence has always been extracted with the shaft and always thrown away, and yet she has always been giving unconditionally. The idea of woman being equated with mother has been there forever because it has been taken for granted and her resources have always been considered free, as with the mother. The poet makes use of sibilant sounds alliterating to portray the gentle nature of Mother Nature. The extensive deserts were her hair, a symbol of beauty. By equating deserts, a symbol of sterility, with a woman, the poet endows it with fertility. Her feet were golden. In Islam also, the Prophet says that heaven lies at the feet of mothers. The mountains figure as evocative visual imagery for the breast that again functions as a site of maternity and nutrition. The use of two Niles for her tears reinforce the idea of Africa being the mother of all civilizations. It also enhances the idea of the mother figure as the one who is of the utmost compassion. The poet, after bringing in all these physical features of the woman, reinforce the idea of beauty and identity as she states that she has lain black through the years. And through this, she also subverts the idea of beauty always being synonymous with fairness or being white. Her vulnerability is portrayed along with her beauty in these lines as she lies down passively. Now, in the second stanza, from the color black and the geography of Africa, the poetess shifts to the color white and imagery that is devoid of warmth. Brigands or bandit-like people arrive over the white seas characterized by cold rime meaning frost, and icicles bold. Icicle is a phallic symbol, and the phrase icicle bold implies toxic masculinity. This idea is highlighted, as you can see, by the word ungentled. Gun is also a phallic symbol here. So, the advent of colonialism is described as the rape of the native motherland. The idea of rape brings out the trauma of the motherland. Also, Angelou herself was raped as a child by her mother's partner, and she is successful in thus bringing out the trauma of rape. The idea is reinstated with the imagery of having bled and the using of guns, again a phallic symbol. In this line, a refrain is a line that repeats throughout a poem. And the refrain "she has lain" in this particular stanza attains a different meaning altogether, in that she is made to lie down passively. It is said that colonialism took her young daughters away, again reinforcing the idea of rape. It was this rape by colonialism on their native land that actually sold their sons and enabled them as victims of a slave tradition that continues till date. Not only is Africa physically violated, she is also spiritually raped, as the white colonizers' beliefs are imposed upon her. She is not even left with her individual opinion. Coming to the analysis of the third stanza, now the poet says that she is rising. You can compare these lines to the poem Still I Rise by Maya Angelou. The poet uses the technique of memorialization here through pain as she asserts, remember the losses, remember her pain. Her screams have been loud and vain like a woman who has been overpowered. The poet not only makes use of visual imagery here, she also makes use of auditory images through the screams of the woman. The word remember figures as an example for anaphora. A figure of speech that refers to a word repeated at the beginning of a line is anaphora. Her history is slain. A woman's chastity has always been equated with her history. Here, history is obliterated on two levels. The woman's chastity is obliterated, and also the history of Africa is put into the past. Nevertheless, the poem ends on an affirmation of hope, and the poet says that she is striding although she is lame. Stride means take long, decisive steps in a specified direction. It is a progressive expression that shows that she is not beaten down by the shackles of colonialism or the ravages of time. This poem also shows the violation of nature by culture and how nature is deprived of her resources. The poem thus is also an example for ecofeminism, where nature is shown to be resilient and fights back, just as the rape victim who subverts all odds and bounces back to life.